soprano drum. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Give me that drum. That drum. This one went to Tucson, and they tuned it up. It's too high this side. Yeah. Thank you. That totally. Cold, dryness, whatever. Tapas, before you sit down, can you pull that other thing? I know it's just a. Yeah. No. The other way. There's no sun out there. Put the other one the other way. Yeah, it's okay. All right, we'll get it. Thank you. That's good enough. Let's see. Jaya, what's better? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajaka Ashtotar the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajaka Ashtotar the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. On this 10th day of November 2025 in San Diego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we're in chapter 12 entitled Devotional Service. 16 or 17? Can anyone guess? What do we do without Mahima? All right, let me see. Yeah, okay. I'll do 16. Okay. Anapeksha, Shuchir, Daksha, Udasino, Gatavitaha, Savarambha, Parityagi, Yo, Madbhakta, Same Priyaha, Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha, Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha, Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha, Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha. Luis? Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha. Ami. Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha, Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha, Udasino Gatavitaha, Sarvarambha Parityagi, Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha. Anyone online?
Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha,
Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha,
Udasino Gatavitaha,
Udasino Gatavitaha,
Sarvarambha Parityagi,
Sarvarambha Parityagi,
Yo Madbhaktaha Same Priyaha.
Yo Madbhakta Same Priyaha. Thank you. Is it Vanessa?
Thank you, Haribo. Yes, Hare Krishna.
And it's 7:30 there, right?
It's actually 8.
Oh, 8 o'clock?
1 hour.
8:30.
8:30.
8:30. Yeah, 8:30. Okay. That's not too late. Okay. Word by words. Anapeksha, neutral. Shuchi, pure. Dakshaha, expert. Udasinaha, free from care. Gatavitaha, freed from all distress. Sarva arambha, of all endeavors. Parityagi, renouncer. Yaha, anyone who. Mat bhaktaha, my devotee. Saha, he, may, to me. Priyaha, very dear. Translation. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. Purport. Money may be offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. If automatically, by the grace of the Supreme, money comes to him, he is not agitated. naturally, a devotee takes a bath at least twice in a day and rises early in the morning for devotional service. Thus, he is naturally clean both inwardly and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the essence of all activities of life, and he is convinced of the authoritative scriptures. A devotee never takes the part of a particular party, therefore he is carefree. He is never pained because he is free from all designations. He knows that his body is a designation, so if there is some bodily pains, he is free. The pure devotee does not endeavor for anything which is against the principles of devotional service. For example, constructing a big building requires great energy, and a devotee does not take to such business if it does not benefit him by advancing his devotional service. He may construct a temple for the Lord, and for that he may take all kinds of anxiety, but he does not construct a big house for his personal relations. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara, the disciplic succession. So Krishna is enumerating different qualities of the devotee, and a pure devotee. This is all about devotional service, and there's only 3 more verses in this chapter. In the beginning, you may recall that Arjuna asked the critical question, who is more perfect, the impersonalist or the devotee? And Krishna answered in no uncertain terms that the devotee is superior, and to try to achieve the impersonal realization is very difficult for those who are embodied. Well, we're all embodied. Klesho adhikatastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. Avyakta sakta means if one's consciousness or mind is attached to the avyakta, the invisible, the non-manifest, that kaivalya, that which has no features. That's the Brahman effulgence. It's very difficult. And I often bring up this verse in this regard. This is spoken by the demigods in prayers when Krishna's in the womb of Devaki. They're hiding, they're in a secluded place in the dungeon there, whatever, and they offer all these prayers, and they're praising the devotees, and then they start this verse with the word yea and yea, but there are others who are yea adabindaksha, O lotus-eyed Lord, Vimuktamanyanas, who think they're liberated. The impersonalists are convinced they're liberated because they realize Brahman and they rise. But actually, they only think they are. Vimuktamanyanas, tvayashtabhavad avishuddha buddhaya, because they're averse to you and their intelligence is not purified, you see. So they may, a few of them may, by severe austerities, rise up to the Brahman platform, negating by sheer will, the material desires. You can imagine how hard that is without the chanting and the deities and everything that enables us to naturally give up these things. So the aruha kritrena parang padang, by kritrena, by severe austerities, a few may rise up to the param padam, which means the supreme platform of Brahman realization. But patantyado, they fall down again, because anadvida yushmarangriya, they're averse to serving your lotus feet. So that verse is very pertinent here. And here he's describing the qualities that the devotee develops by pure devotion. Neutral. The devotee is not dependent on ordinary course of activities. So neutral means that, there's always different parties and different struggles going on in the material world. And the devotee stays aloof from them. Doesn't get entangled in all of these material designations. And shuchi, very pure, taking baths at least twice a day, keeping his dwelling place home. And of course, if you have near a temple, helping to clean the temple. This is a wonderful service for the Lord, because it's always meant to be as clean as possible. Udasina, gatavita, freed from all distress, gatavita, because he's not invested in the material outcomes in the material world. He'd be more aloof, you see, realizing that whatever I have relations in this material world, this is good, this is bad, this is part of my conditioning. that an actual devotee stays neutral in all conditions. And we have such example in the morning class. We're studying about not a Jamil, but Ambarish, King Ambarish, who was a king after all. And kings usually get really entangled in the material world. You know, they go to war and they're worried about the money and all this stuff. But he wasn't like that. It says, Savaimana Krishna Padada Vindayo Vachangsi Vaikunda Gunana Vanade. It describes his mind, you know, is fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna. So Krishna Padada Vachangsi Vaikunda Gunana Vanade. And he would always glorify with his words, Vachangsi Vaikunta Gunana Varnane. Vaikunta is also a name for God, for Vishnu or Krishna. He was always glorifying his qualities and so forth. Thus he's using his words. Karo Hare Mandira Marjanadishu, with his hands he's cleaning the temple. Marjana. Karo Hare Mandira Marjanadishu. I forget what the rest is, but there's two verses, and they just go systematically with all of his functions. His tasting, he would taste the tulsi leaves, you know, and he would smell the fragrance of the garlic. So all of the senses engaged, and this is what's described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a functional devotee. Sarvapari vinamuktam tattvadat Rishikena Rishikesha sevanam bhaktaruchite. That phrase is kind of very descriptive. Rishikena, whenever you hear that ending, just a little Sanskrit, means it's an instrumental. That with your senses, Rishika means senses, with his senses, Rishikesha sevanam, performing service for the master of the senses. Rishika Isha, becomes Rishikesha. That name is in the Bhagavad Gita also. So if Krishna he's the master of the senses, it doesn't mean he's just the master of his own senses. He's the master of our senses. Our senses belong to him. That's what it means. The pure devotee feels, okay, these are your senses, therefore they should be used for his service. Makes sense. And that's bhakti. So all of this, then these are some of the natural qualities that develop in a devotee. He's expert. Now, expert, of course, we get expertise in different things. We're born with certain aptitudes, right? But suppose, like, I was fortunate to, my father really wanted me to play music. My brother didn't have the aptitude, but I had the aptitude. And when 5 years old, he's sitting next to me with his guitar. He played the guitar, and he taught me how to play the recorder, a little flute like this. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And I played that, and then I played the clarinet, then I played the flute, and all of that music background. It was according to my propensity. I had a musical, propensity. So I was so thankful when I came to Krishna Consciousness, and there was all of this facility for music, for singing, for playing the drum. I even bought a mridanga before I joined. I don't know if I told you that story. But I never really learned. I bought the mridanga with a check. I had a job, so I gave the devotee a check. He was up from New Vrindavan. And then I went back home, and I beat it a little bit. Then I joined up and gave the temple the drum, right? But I also gave the temple my whole bank account. This is what you did in those days. I'm becoming a brahmachari, so I had $1,700. That was a lot of money in 1973. You can multiply it times 5 today. So then when he came back, he was upset. Hey, you gave me that check, and it bounced. Because by the time he cashed it, I had already donated all my money to the temple. I said, oh, what am I going to do? I'm just a brahmachari now. So they gave him $30 for the drum. That's what it was, But I never learned to play the drum because there were so many other devotees in the temple who were expert already, So I learned to play the kartals, But the main thing was the singing, all the singing outside and all that. It was just, you loved it, So he becomes expert. Expert at what? Expert at all of the skills and the things that are needed in devotion. You may become expert in cooking, you may become expert in leading kirtan or managing, whatever is necessary. Even making money, that could be a very important aspect. And like Giriraj Swami, he was expert in going to wealthy and pious businessmen in the Bombay area and getting them to buy a life membership. That was Prabhupada's idea. You ever hear the life membership? You don't hear of it some more here. But it was big in India when they started. Said, yes, you buy a full set of books. I think they had to give 1,000 rupees or something, which, I don't know, you know. And then they would get a full set of books, which at that time was maybe 15, 20 books maximum, you know. But it was, yes, and as the Bhagavatam comes out, you'll get all the books. And you can stay for, I think it was 3 days or a week or something, at any temple all over the world. And by that time, Prabhupada had 20, 30 temples, you know. So Giriraj Swami, somehow, he was very good at that, at approaching them and selling them, because he was so sincere himself, you know. So that was an invaluable skill that he had. And then he wrote an article, I think, about Prabhupada in the BTG, and Prabhupada, you know, called to him to come in and say, you should write. You should spend more time writing. And you travel with me, you know, for a while, you know. So it's like, wow, okay. But then he landed back in Bombay or something, and he was fully engaged again in collecting Lakshmi. They did so much Lakshmi. They hadn't really got the land yet, and you know, a lot of money was needed to build the temple and everything. He was right there. So Prabhupada called him in. So how's the writing going? He said, Prabhupada, I haven't had a chance to write. You know, I'm fully engaged in this service. And when he told him the service, he says, okay, that's all right. You know, you can do that. So here's an example here. You know, Anapeksha Daksha. He became expert in a very important skill of writing and also the collecting. So then Udasino, free from care. Udasina means neutral, to stay neutral. Gatavyata, freed from all distress. It reminds me of, you know, Prahlad and also King Ambarish. Here's Ambarish, and he's confronted by this Durvasa Muni. Did I tell you, you know, for a long time I thought his name meant? That his clothes were far away, meaning that he would go about naked, because I think Vasa can also mean clothes. But that's not what his name means. It means, huh?
Stay. It also means stay with.
To stay with.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Durvasa means difficult to live with. Yeah. You know, because it's such a, we used to call it, when I used to speak Yiddish, Meshugana. Do you know that word, Kathy? Meshugana? No. That's from living in New York. There's a lot of Yiddish people. So my family was Yiddish, you know, it was Jewish. It just means someone who's a fool and who's aggravating, you know, and that's Durvasa. Difficult to be with, and he's always out to, you know, get the upper hand, you know, and even to the ready to kill. He's ready to kill Ambarish by creating this demoness, a fiery demoness. I looked it up in the dictionary, a kritya. You know, what is that? I mean, here's this yogi, but he's not getting qualities of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava would never dream of doing anything like that, right? Anyone who's even a little advanced, oh, he's got more honor than me, I'll play a trick on him and, you know, and kill him. It's crazy. So anyway, you see this quality in all advanced Vaishnavas, that they're very tolerant, right? What were you saying?
I have a doubt.
A doubt.
Durvasa Muni was so difficult to live with, but then I read in this Garga Samhita that Krishna was worshipping him.
He was worshipping Durvasa Muni?
Durvasa Pujana. There is one.
I have to look it up. I'll have to see if you got the translation right there. Anyway, it is strange because I think we came across, who was Bali's spiritual master? Bali Maharaj? Shukracharya. So then we read in the 10th chapter that of Kavis, he's, I forget the name now, but it turns out to be Shukracharya, but probably mentioned in the purport. How does Shukracharya become identified, you know, with Krishna saying, oh, I'm Shukracharya? So but if you read the pastime, he reformed, you know, at the end of the pastime in Bali, that he was doing okay, he became a devotee. But anyway, so back to the verse, Gata Vyata, free from all distress. Now this is, you know, perfectly embodied, again, in Prahlad Maharaj, in Haridas Thakur, and also in King Ambarish. Here's this fiery demon that's coming to burn him up. And what is he doing? He's just standing there, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He didn't think, let me get out of here. That Durvasa did that, right? Whoa! No, he was afraid of getting killed by the chakra, which is suspicious. You know, you get killed, you get some kind of elevation. So it just shows the contrast. If you're completely materially absorbed, then you're ready to take great offense, like Hiranyakashipu, and to the extent of wanting to kill your own son, because he's challenging you, because he's favorable to your arch enemy, right? So this enemy and friends, this is all material. So devotees are they're equal. Remember the qualities of a sadhu. Titikshima karunika suridak sarvadehinam ajata shatrava. No enemy. He has no enmity toward anyone, right? And tolerance and compassion, just the opposite of our arch demons we hear. So this is Sarvaramba Parityagi. So of all, he's the renouncer of all material endeavors. Over endeavor for material things is renounced. Such a devotee is very dear to me, and that's Krishna ends each verse with that, right? This is how you become really. So we want to become dear to Krishna, and how we do that is by making Krishna dear to us. In other words, if you become attracted to Krishna. Oh, I wanted to share this with you. Maybe there's a verse in the CC describes the actual inner meaning of the name Krishna. Did you ever hear that? Krishi Bhuvachaka Ksabda Nashta Nirvata Vachaka, I think is something like that. So the word Krish is about the attractive nature of Krishna. It's the pulling, right? Karshati is the plowing and the whole thing. So that's, Krishna is all attractive. And when we read about him, he's got these 64 qualities, and the beauty and the expertise in joking and all of these different things. Everything that you know about that someone can make someone attractive, Krishna has it in an infinite degree. And so then, and the na is the bliss, the bliss. In other words, if you become attracted to Krishna and you serve him, then he'll share his bliss with you. What do we have in the Vedanta Sutra? Anandamaya Abhyasat. Isn't that one? Anandamaya Abhyasat. So Anandamaya means full of bliss. He is always full of bliss. And how do we know? Abhyasat, because we see his activities, and everything is, whether he's killing Putana, he's playing with the boys, or he's with his mother. It may seem that, he's afraid, he's running from his mother, but it's all part of his blissful rasa that he's enjoying. Even, that's the nature of Krishna. So, since we're part and parcel of Krishna, we're also naturally Anandamaya, you see? But in the material relative consciousness, that's not what we are. We get little dollops of sense gratification, happiness, but then it passes away, it's temporary. And so that's the opposite of Ananda. That happiness you feel in sense gratification, Prabhupada says, I forget the purport, is your worst enemy. Because it leaves you to the conclusion that you can be happy in this material world. If I just get, arrange things right, if I get enough money, if I build my body up. I learned that on my walk. The yard gym. It's amazing, I must admit, this is a temple for the spirit, right? And it's a temple for the body. There's more of them there at 6:30 in the morning than there are here in Mangalarti. And they are some dedicated people. It's 6:30, and then they got to go to work. After that, there's no showers in there. They got to go home, take a shower, and go. But this is it. Build up the body. And of course, why? Better sex and stuff like that. That's what they're thinking of. So that's, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I just go by, So, but you see, it's the examples that people are absorbed, they're conditioning, that they're fully convinced that, like I have to do this, I have to go to work, I have to pay the rent, this, and they do have to, because they're committed to the body, So the devotee is just the opposite, and otherwise you can't be Sarvaramba Parityagi, to renouncer of all endeavors, and all material endeavors. That's your business. It's to work hard, make money, and enjoy. So it's just the opposite. And in this way you become dear to Krishna. And the only way of doing this is by becoming Krishna conscious, chanting Krishna's name, seeing the deity, cooking for Krishna, working for Krishna, and remembering Krishna more and more. Because he's all attractive, you find yourself, first of all, indifferent to the material things. You get the higher taste. That's right in the Bhagavatam. And that's, I always refer to this, the first chapter, first canto, second chapter, text 6, Savai Pungsang Paro Dharmo, very famous verse. What is that supreme dharma by which the soul can really be happy? This was the question of the sages at Naimisharanya. You say, how can they be really fully blissful? So the answer is the first verse. Savai Pungsang Paro Dharma Yato Bhaktir Arhokshaje Ahaitukya Pratayata Yayatma Suprasidati. There's so much information in that one verse. So for human beings, Savai Pungsang Paro Dharma, the supreme dharma, is that which engenders or produces devotion for the transcendental Lord. The word is adhokshaja. This is a name that's often used when you're speaking about the beginning stages of bhakti, before you even talked about Krishna. This is adhokshaja. It simply means he who is beyond the knowledge of the mind and senses. Ada akshaja. Akshaja, just short for janma, means that knowledge which is born from the eyes and the other senses, the ascending means of knowledge, which you can never reach Krishna. So Krishna pushes that down. Adha means he's down. It goes down. He's beyond that. He's transcendental. So why do they use that word? They use that name when you're speaking about the beginning stages of bhakti, because you don't know anything about Krishna. So really at that point, to hear about his beautiful lotus eyes and lotus feet and the flute playing, you're not ready for that yet. You have to first develop faith that there is someone out there. First faith that we're souls, the spirit. That in itself is not, you can't find out by your senses, your mind. It's as revealed. But to understand that, there's a transcendental power, conscious being beyond my ability to see or know in this way. But I have faith that it exists because the books and the great acharya like Srila Prabhupada, they believed in him. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and all those acharyas, they're just bewildered. I'm smarter than all them? No, they're very wise and realized souls, so I have faith. I don't have any realization yet, but I have faith. Adau Shraddha, beginning faith, right? So therefore I'll try the chanting 2 rounds a day, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, right? So you make inroads. And then from the chanting, from the practice, Krishna gives you a little realization. So some of the realization is, those things that would bother me, don't worry, they don't bother me so much anymore. And the things that I was obsessed with doing, that's interesting. Let me chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that's what's going on. So that's a first lesson, is that you want to, what's the supreme dharma? That which leads to pure devotion. So to adhokshaja, the transcendent Lord, beyond your ability. Avan manasa gochara. Have you ever heard that one? That phrase? That's one of the first phrases I ever learned. Avan manasa gochara. Gochara means within the realm of your understanding, of your words or your mind. But avan means just the opposite. Beyond the reach of your words and your mind. This is Krishna. Everything transcendental. But how can we know about it? By getting the association of someone who knows, either directly or through some medium like a book or an internet or whatever it may be. And hearing. So that association is there. And here you can get these qualities. So let's go on, because he goes on describing these important qualities. Yo narishyati nadreshti, nashochati nakangshati, shubhashava parityagi, bhaktiman yasume priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Purport. A pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So just see how these are inconceivable to be possessed by an ordinary person. He neither rejoices nor grieves. Well, no. Most people are mostly grieving every now and then they rejoice. That's what makes life worth living, right? You have some peak experience, No. Neither laments nor desires. That's very rare. And who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So the point is, a real devotee, he has another frame of reference. Another frame of reference. The usual frame of reference, what is pleasing to my senses, and to my also subtle sense, to my ego. Am I getting the right recognition that I'm supposed to get? What do you think? So there's all that's a very important part, So there's just the opposite. Vishriti and dveshti. There's going to be some taking pleasure, happiness when your senses are pleased. And if someone insults me or whatever, there's dveshti. There's what does he call it? Grief here. He grieves, And shochati kanchati. So what does it say? Brahma bhuta prasanama na shochati na kanchati. You remember that verse? That's a very important verse in the 18th chapter, I think 1854. Brahma bhuta, if you can rise to the Brahman platform through the process of bhakti, or, standard process, prasanatma, you become naturally joyful, because that's our nature. Anandamaya abhyasa, we're part and parcel of Krishna. Brahma prasanatma, and then nashochati nakanchati, exactly what Krishna says here, is that you don't lament for things that you may lose, you don't hanker for material things. Samak sarveshu bhuteshu, you see everyone equally, it's just like, this is similar to here. Samak bhuteshu, yo mad bhaktim labate param. Then you get bhakti. Now it's kind of a puzzle because this Brahma Bhuta means transcending the modes of nature and coming to Brahman, So what do we find? Mam chiyova vicharena, at the end of the 14th chapter. This is the 18th chapter, that verse I just said, Brahma Bhuta verse. And then the 14th chapter says, Mam chiyova vicharena, bhakti yogena sevate, sogunan samiti taitan, brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who serves me, abhyabhichari means without interruption, without fail. Mam chiyova bhakti yogena sevate, sogunan samiti taitan, he transcends the modes of nature and attains the Brahman state. But the other verse in the 18th says, one who attains the Brahman state, then he gets bhakti. Well, which comes first, the bhakti or the Brahman? You see, there seems to be a contradiction. But I once figured it. One says, mad bhaktim labate param. So that's the Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. So one is the difference between bhakti and bhakti yoga. Okay, bhakti yoga stresses the process that you're going through. I'm a bhakti yogi. I'm practicing bhakti, my sadhana bhakti yoga. And then when I attain my goal, then I'm in prema bhakti. The gopis are not practicing any kind of yoga. They're situated in pure love, pure bhakti. At all times they're feeling and acting for Krishna in that way. So one describes the process of attaining bhakti. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, you're starting, okay, now I've come to the Brahman stage through practice. And Prasanatma, I'm fully joyful. Now just the little editing note here, the first Bhagavad Gita as it is, it's on a bridge published in 72, Prabhupada didn't skip over that. The Prasanatma part becomes fully joyful. Although he mentioned it in the purport, and whenever he quoted the verse, that would be the main thing he talks about. But in the translation it was missing, so that was restored by Jayawada Maharaj. Anyway, a little note on it. So if you can get to Brahma Bhuta, Prasanatma, and the character Nashochati and the Kankshati, you're really not lamenting anything and you're not hanging for anything material, and you see everyone equally, then in that stage, you can reach real bhakti, And the other one is, if you're practicing bhakti, and practicing sadhana bhakti, mam chiyo vyabhicharena, without falling down, mam chiyo vyabhicharena, bhakti yogena sevate, sogunan samati jaitan, you transcend the modes of nature and come to the platform of Brahman. You see, it's kind of a way station. You're practicing bhakti, and that's one of the stages you come to. Brahman realization, you see everyone spiritually like that, you know. So there's a slight different difference, and I think the difference is the bhakti yoga versus the bhakti part. The one in the 18th chapter, you're actually attaining bhakti, and you're not practicing anymore, you know, yoga. You know, you're linked up to Krishna permanently and experiencing. Okay. So here, you know, in the purport, this equipoise, which was emphasized at the beginning of the Gita, and is important. He's neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss. I think a devotee is neither happy over material gain nor distressed at material loss. Happy nor distressed over material gain or loss. Very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he very much anxious, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So, we'll go to the next two in just a minute. So the thing is, in English, some of you are familiar with this phrase, a frame of reference. You know, have a frame of reference. And that's important in Bhakti Yoga, because your frame of reference, meaning that how you identify what's important, what the motive of your activity is. And really, we're meant to, especially in the beginning stages, our frame of reference is, how do we please the Guru? You remember? Those who know the Guru Vashtaka, the last verse is so key. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasagan nagati katopi. You know, that is very important, because it's yasya aprasada. Otherwise, you're saying, oh, by his mercy you can make no advancement, right? So what is saying there is the key verse. Yasya prasada, by the grace of the Guru, by pleasing the Guru. And how is he pleased? By you being Krishna conscious, you see. But the motive is, oh, he asked me to do it, okay, I'm going to try to please. Yasya bhagavat prasado. Then Krishna is pleased. Then you get the prasad or blessings of Krishna. But yasya aprasada, and if you displease the Guru, you offend the Guru, or ignore the Guru, nagati gatopi, there is no means of advancement, you see. Gati is an interesting word. It means the goal and the means to the goal also. And in both the songs we sing to the Guru in the morning, for those who attend the morning program, that phrase is used. You remember, say, Shri Guru Chadana, but Guru Mukha Padma Bakachita Tekodiya Ar Nakadiya Mone Ashe. Shri Guru Chadana Rati Ase Uttama Gati. Ye Prasari Suri Sarvasha. So there, I've seen both translations, but actually the attraction or the affection for the devotee, for the pure devotee, for the Guru, right? Shri Guru Chana Rati, for the lotus feet, is the best means of advancement, the only means of advancement. Because then, if you just take yourself back to when this movement started growing, right? And Prabhupada was sitting there in 26 Second Avenue, you know, and he was chanting and he was teaching and he was cooking and everything. And he was doing it out of his affection and love for these souls, these spirit souls who had come under his shelter. And they could feel that he was working so hard to give them this treasure of Krishna consciousness. And so they developed real affection for him. And that's such the most valuable thing, because then you're ready to do so many things to please, if you really love someone, you know. Like the mother, you know, will do anything so the child can be safe and happy and healthy, you know. So that can be understood, that it is the real means to advancement, is to develop this affection for the Guru, and to, you know. And then there's, I think Vishwanath Chakrabarti, I've seen, he wrote the song, that the translation I said, and that is the ultimate goal, is the Shri Guru Charana Rati Ase Uttamagati. The real, you know, goal is that affection for the Guru, because it automatically means affection for Krishna. You know, that will be also taken, because Krishna will be so pleased to see that you have real affection for his dear, you know, son. So that's works both ways. All right, let's do 18:19. And there's only one more verse. Samakshatraucha mitrecha tatamana pamanayo shitosha sukadukeshu samaksanga vivarjitaha tulyanandastutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketas tirmatir bhaktiman me priyo naraha. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Okay. Purport. A devotee is always free from all bad association. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. That is the nature of human society. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, distress or happiness. He is very patient. He does not speak of anything but the topics about Krishna. Therefore he is called silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means that one should not speak nonsense. One should speak only of essentials, and the most essential speech for the devotee is to speak for the sake of the Supreme Lord. A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable foodstuffs, sometimes not, but he's satisfied. Nor does he care for any residential facility. He may sometimes live underneath a tree, and he may sometimes live in a very palatial building. He is attracted to neither. He is called fixed because he is fixed in his determination and knowledge. We may find some repetition in the descriptions of the qualifications of a devotee, but this is just to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Without good qualifications, one cannot be a pure devotee. Harava bhakta sukuto mahadguna. One who is not a devotee has no good qualifications. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop the good qualifications. Of course, he does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him develop them. Okay, the engagement helps him. Okay, I get it. Very good. So, equal to friends and enemies. Now, who can, first of all, the devotee has no enemy, which means that he doesn't have any enmity toward anyone, but others may have enmity toward him. Think of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad, right? But Prahlad, we learned from the movie, right? He was always equipoised. He's sitting on the lap of that Holika, is her name? Who's burning, to burn him. She's thinking, I'll burn him. He'll burn and I won't. Well, that didn't work, of course. But Prahlad was just sitting very peacefully there, Hiranyakashipu was, oh no. Didn't he try to put the fire out or something? So that, who could, just imagine, I can't imagine, sitting like that and being equipoised when it seems, absolutely I'm going to be burned up. I can't honestly say that. I would just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The flames are coming out, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's amazing, isn't it? Someone could be that, but it's the same thing with Ambarish. The fire was coming at him, the fiery demoness, and he's Hare Krishna, whatever he's doing, So that's obviously a very advanced position. The fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything. So silent means not speaking nonsense, obviously. Who doesn't care for any residence. It's not easy to imagine. Who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. So Krishna is, he's laying it out. These are qualities we try to develop in order to become more dear to Krishna. Because that's kind of a goal, but the only way that can happen is if Krishna becomes dear to you. And if you develop love for him, that's what attracts him. Only that, right? You're not attracted by any material quality you may have. But if somehow or other you develop genuine affection for Krishna and his devotees, then he's very happy with you. And the first result is you'll become, he'll bestow upon you attraction for him, which automatically means vairagya for everything else. That's the next verse after the word Savai Pungsam. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Priyojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayada Hoitukam. By practicing this devotion to Vasudeva, Krishna, Vasudeva Bhakti, then Janayati, same word in English, generates quickly Ashu Vairagyam, detachment from material things. You don't need to try to, work on it separately. That's automatic. And along with that comes knowledge. Knowledge and vairagya always work together. Jnana produces vairagya. A little thing on the package of cigarettes. Doesn't really work very well, right? Oh, by the way, this cigarette, will cause you this disease, that disease, everything. I think they were even going to put pictures on there at one point, but they were able to, destroyed lungs or something. But it said, oh, I don't know, why should I smoke this thing? That's the whole idea, But that knowledge comes automatically because you're getting daily realization, moment to moment. You're genuinely feeling, some bliss. Where is that coming from? Well, it's coming from Krishna, because you went out on Harinam, that's your feeling. And with that, then this other stuff, forget it. I don't want to know about it. Oh my God, it's getting late. All right, any final comments? And we'll have a couple of little poems to wind up. Okay. This one I failed to give in my, some of you heard my Sunday lecture. And actually, was it? Yeah. In the purport, Prabhupada quoted that verse from Rashabdev, Nayam Deho De Bhajani Loki. But I failed to give my little English rendition of it. And I modified it a little bit. Don't waste this precious human life, dear friend, by working hard for hoggish happiness. That's the way I was at it, because that's what he has in the verse, But then I changed it. So anyone can relate to it. Don't waste this precious human life, dear friend, by working hard for fleeting happiness. Through bhakti yoga, worldly life transcend and learn to taste divine love's endless bliss. You see? Rather than working hard for fleeting happiness, sense gratification, work hard for developing love for Krishna, and then you'll have unending happiness in relating to Krishna. So this is a central theme, and that's what we're doing. We're going through, and we'll finish this chapter tomorrow. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for your attention.